How to make a great Pooh product from engineering. We talked about how to make a great product before marketing. We talked about how to make a great product from engineering management. And now, at the end of the line in engineering, we considered this risky before, but more so now. Mike Mozart, toy designer and collector, called this the best Pooh toy of all time. And that was 10 years after it came to the market. Pooh was the biggest brand in preschool above Mickey Mouse. So how was this done? There were 3 parts. The first one is innovation. Again, this is creative marketing, beyond what marketing is asking for. So proceed with extreme caution. Again, it was not asked for by customers because it was considered impossible. But in the end, it was hailed by all. The second part was some uncommon knowledge. It required coding 800 pages of assembly code in 6.5 weeks. The memory was full, so the project was pressured for both space and time. To be able to add any features, you'd have to both be able to make space and time. For example, Mike Mozart said that it had the nicest animatronics. There was no speed control, but speed control could be added with pulse width modulation. Once you added it on time, you could close with the design saying, "Would you like me to take it out?" You also couldn't run the head and the mouth motor at the same time. But with pulse width modulation, you could keep them apart by 17 milliseconds. Again, if delivered on time, would you like it taken out? There was more game content that could fit in the memory, so the goal was to be able to fit as much as you can and stop. But you can fit it all and add more complex animations if you could write a language. Writing an interpreter language adds additional complexity, but it allows you 2 times the game size. It also remembered where the child was sitting and where the other toys were. Smooth entry and exit of additional toys, duplicates of the same toys, and expansion space for new characters. These were all bonuses in the designs of the nice animatronics. For complexity, the RF, the audio, the animatronics, and AI were all interleaved. The part that was chosen could have been up to 128 bytes, but the one actually used was only 32 bytes of RAM. That's about as much memory as it takes to hold a short sentence. The third key to success was being a team player. Given a choice, I invited marketing input. We collaborated to add over 100 engineering changes in the week before shipping. So as a result, everyone was satisfied. There are 3 bits of bonus information. The first one is a story. When in 5th grade, we buried a time capsule. I put in it that one day I wanted to make toys for Mattel. Eerie, huh? I'd be interested in hearing if any of you have had similar experiences and how that affects your achievement in adulthood. The second piece of bonus information is some tips on safe innovation. There are some bits that help. One is autonomy. If you're working alone, you have a little more leeway. Also, it helped that the project was expected to be late. Everyone had an excuse, since this was the second most complex toy that Mattel had ever made. There's some uncommon knowledge that I may cover in future sessions. That is how to deliver projects on time, how to make bug-free designs, how to make designs reliable, and how to pass marketing approval on your innovations. You really have to have all those, otherwise it's your fault. For the last piece of bonus information, this was the last of the 4 greatest of all time projects, as well as the secret sauce that made each one of them go. But if you're going to try yourself, there's a little more worth mentioning. One idea is be patient. Sometimes it takes a long time to know that something's the greatest of all time. In this case, it was good in its time. It was the toy of the year. But it took another 10 years to know. On these things, you never know for sure. There should be many more that are great in their time, or in a non-public way. So there are many, many projects that fall short of the greatest of all time mark. So repeat the process dozens of times to get one. Many could be too soon to know, or could be privately known, so they'll never really get the accolades. So another thought is don't always ask in advance about your creative marketing. As you become more seasoned, people will just expect that you add your own style. And it's too scary for anybody to approve, but they'll like the result. So early in your career, you may work out a deal. You deliver early on your commitment, and then spend the time left over on some innovation. Another idea is recognizing that the setting is right. In this case, it actually may feel wrong. In this case of a project that was expected to be late, you wouldn't expect it to be the best place to add bonus features. But you get a sense of people backing away from it, at the same time receiving priority support. There's some companies, but just a few, that have a strong culture of innovation. This allows employees in their schedule to do creative marketing. It's not that it doesn't exist. Is it enough to allow this amount? 4 greatest of all time projects implies that it's not just luck, but it implies that there's something in common to share.